right, three, two, one. Okay. All right. Okay. Then I'm gonna go ahead and start the interview right there. Okay. Just put that tweet out. Then make sure I put the Discord over here. Okay. Okay. I believe I got everything, unless there's anything you need on your end before we go ahead. I'm gonna
No,
give
I'm
it.
good to go.
Yeah, I'm gonna give it just a little bit. What in the world? I'm sorry. I just saw this random video that's okay. Um, some random video on the internet of a bird just knocking eggs out of a basket. Just looks weird. I don't know why I saw that on Twitter. Anyway, that has nothing to do with
Twitter is random like that.
yeah, no, it was promoted. It was this a baby bird just knocking eggs out of a nest. All right, I guess that's a thing. Okay. All right. I think I got. Okay. All right. Yeah, I just want to make sure I got this right here. Image. Okay. All right. Well, a little Tuesday morning here. Well, I guess yeah, you could say it's Tuesday morning, but joining me today is this lovely human being known on the internet as Kitty B Love. Is that how is that your alias?
Yes,
People on the
well, for
street
the
call
most
you
part.
Kaylee.
Yeah,
um,
for the most part. You can find
okay,
most of my socials under that name.
okay. And I found because I found your work on the internet. You are a painter. If I have that correct.
Yes, I paint, I draw, sketch, pretty much a little bit of everything.
And that's awesome because that was you even have your work up on display for people to see when they look you up, and you are an amazing painter. You
Thank you.
really like have this very beautiful artistry, um, and well, I mean, there's other things. You have a YouTube channel too, and you
Mhm.
also talk about locks and other things amongst your social media. But your art, just like the colors, they're just so like they pop out. Um,
Thank you. Hmm.
and like I mean they're amazing drawings and anyway, but just like when you put like bright colors like blue, green, yellow, orange along with just the illustration, it just really sets like different tones and like people can of course and I'll be frequently linking the your beacons page, but on your beacons page you have some examples that people can just go ahead and buy um, uh, for you know donations and such. I mean, how did all this start for you?
Well, I guess I kind of took to art, I don't know, maybe kindergarten, Head Start, when you're just drawing with crayons and that's your favorite time of the day is to just draw and do your own thing. And then as I kind of got older, I got into portraits when I was maybe middle school age and kind of early high school. That was really my passion to do portraits. And then I kind of took a break, with just like going to college and just living life as a young adult. I kind of took a break from doing portraits, but then when I did really get back into my art, I started doing more like nature based work. So, like flowers, plants, a lot of things like that. More recently, I have gotten back into doing portraits. So, I'm really trying to make that more of my focus as well, or at least combining the two, like portraits and like, flowers and plants and things like that. So, I'm trying to more focus back on my art instead of, the 9 to 5 grind because I just want to do what really makes me happy. And I feel like when I'm doing my art, I'm really in my happy place.
Okay, and would you say like that's probably the number one thing that like drives you to be an artist?
Yeah. It's like, when they say like find something that you would do for free and kind of make that your job or make that your passion, your career. I feel like I can draw any time of the day, anywhere. You can always catch me like I have my iPad with me where I'm sketching or
Mm.
a little sketchbook not too far from me. So that's really something that I just really want to pursue. Now that I really have the time to do it, I just kind of want to put 100% into doing it and kind of see what could happen.
As you should. In fact, why don't I mean, because I was talking about why don't I actually I'm gonna even display the examples that you have on your beacons. Let me see if I can put it on. Let's see, screen one, screen two. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and share this for a second. Um, hold on. Ooh, that looks weird. Oh my god. Oh my god. All right, that's the wrong screen. Okay, let me. I was like, whoa, whoa. All right, we're in some kind of weird. Okay. Oh, here we go. Here we go.
Technology.
that, that was not what I was trying to show. Anyway, yeah, on the beacons page that I just linked, like these examples that you have, when it comes to even drawing, you know, the type of art that I mean, at least the examples that you have, I'm sure there's probably many that you go down the list of, but you draw a lot of plants. Now, what speaks about plants to be like your main, like at least your main model, at least the ones that you're selling on your beacons, for example.
Well, I'm a plant mama, and when I was really young, maybe elementary, my mom used to always have like a huge garden of like sunflowers and different plants right out front, and I love like participating and helping her out with that. So as I got older and I got my own space, I kind of just took to plants as well. So that's kind of just my main focus. Or if I'm out and about and I see a plant that I like, I'll take a picture, I'll redraw it. So that's just something I kind of took to. Like, some people, you're more like sports based or other stuff, but plants is something I feel like just comes easy for me when I'm drawing.
Because I mean, on that subject, like, on the bottom, you even have things like a plant care tracker and a dream
Hmm.
journal. So, are these all things that you also design? Plant. I don't think I've even heard of that plant care tracker. Like, what would that be for? I guess people owning their own garden, or.
Yeah, so with me, I some at some point I had upwards to almost 20 plants. So if you are somebody who has like a whole bunch of plants, it could be a little confusing to keep everybody on schedule because some plants have different watering schedules, some plants need different lighting, stuff like that. So I just kind of like designed a little plant care tracker to keep you on track. So you basically just put the name of the plant or whatever you've named your plants, because some people give their plants names. So, the plant name or whatever you named your plant, you put it in there. You basically just put like their watering schedule, how they're looking, how their soil is doing, the type of light that they need, stuff like that, just to kind of keep everybody on track and keep people more organized, especially because I've had people reach out and they're just starting or they're wanting to get into plants. So I definitely feel like that's more geared towards them to kind of get their foot in the door to kind of help them with their plant growth and stuff like that.
Okay, what they have 20 plants, and that's like what you're spending how much time watering like all those plants?
It just depends, because not everybody gets like watered on the same day. So, it could be maybe three plants are watered, twice a week, or maybe these four need to be watered every other day. And then it really just depends on the weather out here as well, because sometimes we might not get rain for a while. So you might have to, I have outdoor plants. So you might have to water your plants a little more often. But when I did have a few that were indoors, I really didn't have to water them too much, just because inside it wasn't so dry, it wasn't so hot. So it really just depends.
Okay. What would you say like if somebody were to maybe not like not be into plants but kind of ask the question, well, why carry all these plants? Like why have so many plants in your house? Like what do these plants do for you? Like what gets you about plants?
I love to watch the growth. Usually, when I buy a plant, I'll buy a smaller plant, and I know that it'll get to a certain size, but I don't really buy plants that are super huge. So I love to watch the growth of them. I love to know that I'm taking care of them to the point that they're flourishing and things like that. And then I feel like it's kind of with anybody who like collects things. Like some people
Mm.
collect cards, or some people collect shoes. It's kind of like that thing that just makes you happy. It's like there's not really like a super definite reason why. It just brings you joy. So it was kind of like a pandemic project. That's what I call it. Like in the pandemic, when
Oh,
we were at
okay.
home, I got one plant, I got another plant. Then it was like I got three more plants, and then next thing you know, I just had a whole patio worth of plants, and I just kind of stuck with it.
Okay. And I don't mean that's like, man, why do you have plants? God dang it! You should do something else that you like. No, no, that's actually, actually, there is something beautiful about that of owning so many plants. And plants are good for the environment. Oxygen and food, vegetables. I don't know if those are the type of plants you like to grow, or just flowers, or uh, see, this is how I know about plant flowers. Yeah,
Yeah,
flowers and trees and
yeah, I
but
like more of like a leafy kind of plant, like big
right.
leafy plants are more my thing. Not so much as vegetables, because I really didn't have the space for
Mm.
them. But if I ever got like, maybe like an acre of land or something, and I could be out there and really like growing, because I always wanted to grow like blueberries or blackberries, things like that, or have like a
Okay.
lemon tree, then I would definitely do that. But like with apartment living, it kind of makes it a little hard to actually,
Oh,
grow
okay.
things that need a whole lot of space.
So, currently this being at least your goal to be an artist, how, and you mentioned living in an apartment, you mentioned things are expensive. Like, how do you, at least for the time being, get by on a day to day basis?
On a day-to-day basis, well, previously earlier this year, I was actually a lash extension tech. So I was doing lash extensions. I'm a licensed esthetician still. So that was my full-time job. I did leave that industry just because I did want to pursue something that made me a little more happy. And I feel like the environment really wasn't giving me what I need, like fulfillment wise. So right now, I'm just really focusing on art and selling what I can, and really focusing on trying to monetize. Like you said before, I have a YouTube channel, so really trying to monetize my YouTube channel as well. So I really just want to be more focused on like my creative avenues, bringing in income for me versus doing something that I'm really not enjoying.
No, that's important, and I'm glad that that I'm happy for you to even just like because that's a daring move. Because it'd be competitive out here, especially on the internet, to like try to make a living off of YouTube, out of all things. But as an artist, I'm sure there are like different businesses out there that are looking for painters. Maybe there's a art museum. Have you like looked at all of the things around your area as ways to kind of take advantage of your craft?
Yeah, I see. Well, I'm in Houston, so they do have a lot of events as far as like different farmers markets, different markets for artists and things like that. I'm kind of waiting more till it gets towards the fall a little bit because a lot of the markets are outside, and outside in Houston in the middle of summertime, it's a little unbearable. So I'm trying
Oh,
to wait a little bit more for the weather to get a little bit cooler or at least not so hot, and do more of those as well. And just kind of making sure that I'm putting myself out there because sometimes I feel like it's hard to just put yourself out there, because on the internet, everybody has so many like different comments and opinions, so it's just
opinions.
kind of,
People
yeah.
being mean to you. Oh,
No, surprisingly, I haven't had,
okay.
too many negative experiences,
Okay.
but it's still just like, you put your art out there because, you make it because you like it, but you hope that other people will enjoy it as well. So it's just, trying to be more consistent with just like putting myself out there.
Okay. No, that's important. Yeah, no, I mean, the weather is warm. I live in Texas too. I mean, a different part, but I get that. Hopefully, there's indoor or or even online. I'm sure there are businesses like you can be a graphic artist or
Hmm.
maybe like explore art in like different ways. And maybe like later it'll come back to painting. Well, do you prefer is like painting the your preference of art, or do you just enjoy art in general?
Um, I think just art in general. I do love to paint and draw. I just kind of juggle them all. It kind of just depends on how I feel. But like you said with my Beacons page, all the art on there is digital artwork. So you literally can just buy it and print it off and frame it. So it doesn't take anything for me to like physically draw for you or ship out to you. So that's very convenient. So I do push that as well. And then when I do have time to just really focus on drawing, like physical artwork, I do that as well. I paint on clothes, so like jackets and pants and things like that. So pretty much anything where I can creatively express myself, I do. I also do like floral arrangements, so I do that as well. So any like creative avenue that I'm just really wanting to explore, then I just kind of jump in and explore it.
Okay. Um, for those who are maybe intimidated by the challenges of art, what are some techniques or things that you like to do to kind of own your craft? Or is it just I was just born an artist?
Um, I would say you I feel like usually at a young age you already know like this is what you want to do, but for people who are maybe older or just wanting to jump into it and try it, or they just kind of took to, I don't know, pottery or drawing or whatever randomly, I would just say just practice. Whenever you get spare time and you just want to work on a little sketch, just carve out time to really just do what you want to do, because I think a lot of times we get caught up in working our 9 to 5, our regular job. So then when we get home, we're tired and we're like, oh, I don't have time to do X, Y, and Z because I want to sleep. But you got to be just dedicated to really setting that time aside to really just working on your craft.
No, that's important.
Hmm.
Um, do you like when in ways of practice? Like, what do you normally like to do? Because different artists and different like illustrators, they have like their own workshop. But this is like how like drawing a circle, for example, or doing I guess life drawing. That's sometimes a thing. Like, how do you experiment with how you perfect your craft?
I take like when I draw plants and things like that, I take a lot of pictures. I'm one of the people like I can look at something and draw it. So I take a lot of pictures and I'm drawing maybe the same thing over and over and over again. And even if I'm like, oh, I don't like it the first time, I mean, it's not something that you have to keep. So if you draw something and you don't like it, you can always start over. So I just always tell people like, you don't have to put so much pressure on yourself to be perfect. right out the gate, but I just say it's a lot of repetition. If you're drawing like the same things, or if you are trying to perfect freehand and drawing a circle, for example, it's going to be a lot of repetition of just drawing circles. Or if you're somebody who wants to get into like calligraphy, it's a lot of repetition of just practice, practice, practice. So for with me, it's just always taking like different pictures, different angles of like the subject that I'm drawing before I actually draw it. And then it's just practicing over and over again until I just feel comfortable enough to just, a lot of times I'm just freehand and I'm not really sketching it out first. So until you get to that point where you can just kind of freehand it without any extra like tools, then I would say just practice, keep practicing, and a lot of repetition until you feel like you can just do it with your eyes closed.
Now, are your recycle bins just like full of like unused or like paper that you was like this was your practice paper and then you just throw it away? Like
Um,
when people practice, they're like, you know what? I can't do it. Oh gosh, I have to take out the trash now.
yeah, you know what? Surprisingly, mine aren't because when I'm practicing, like before I actually like draw out anything, I'll just draw it in pencil. So I'm
Okay.
big on like not wasting art supplies because art supplies are not cheap. So even if you
Mm-hmm.
go and buy like a sketchbook, sketchbooks nowadays are not cheap. So I'm not wasting no sketchbook paper. I'm not wasting
Mm-hmm.
pencils or paint or oil pastels. So if I got a piece of paper I practice on and I only practice on one side, I might just flip it over and and use it for another project that that I'm working on that might be like a permanent project that I'm actually doing. So I try not to be wasteful with my supplies. So I would encourage other people to do the same thing because when they start actually paying for supplies like that, they'll realize that piece of paper you keep throwing out is going to keep costing you in the long run. So
Mm-hmm.
tell people to be very mindful about that.
So what happens when you do run out of paper?
Um,
Then what's your plan B?
you know what? Surprisingly, I do stay stocked up on
Okay.
sketchbooks and everything else. But I always try to make sure I'm never running out. Like if I start to get low on something, I do make sure to
Mm-hmm.
go and purchase it because I hate when you're in the middle of working on a project and now you have to stop and go get more paint, or you got to stop and
Mm.
get, you know what I'm saying, more supply. It kind of throws off, especially if you're in the zone. Like I'm hyper focused when I'm working on something, so I hate to have to stop and get something that I absolutely need. So I would encourage people to, make sure you stay up on your supplies, but also, don't go out and buy 50 sketchbooks. That might be a little excessive. But
Uh,
maybe like one or two when you go out, just to make sure you're not, running out when you actually need it.
what about those Amazon deals where they're like, if you buy 5 sketchbooks, we'll give you one for free. Then they'll get
I was
50.
if you're actually using your sketchbooks like that, because I follow some artists on IG and they're actually using their sketchbooks like that, then I would say
Okay.
that's a good deal. But if you're somebody who maybe doesn't really sketch like that or doesn't really put like their serious work in sketchbooks, then I would say that might, be a little excessive. But I just have to feel like you have to go off of how much you actually use.
So, in that perspective, would you say, because we're in 2024 at the growing age of technology, would you say, would you prefer to use the like I guess the touchpad on an iPad, doing digital drawing as opposed to working with like physical sketchbooks?
Mm, I feel like for now, I'm still a physical sketchbook kind of girly. I do enjoy like working on my iPad, but I really enjoy the feeling of, just creating something by hand. And then you don't have too much wiggle room if you make a mistake on physical artwork versus on an iPad, you can just hit the little erase button and you can just erase whatever mistake you made. But with physical artwork, it's not as forgiving. So I do like that. I feel like I can hone in on my craft a little more with physical art. So I feel like for right now, I know times are kind of changing a little bit, but I feel like for right now, physical art for me is still something I do have a strong passion for.
No, I mean, times are changing. And it's like interesting, even talking about art being a career passion because now there are so many ways you could be an artist today.
Mhm.
And now, because most artists would probably have something to say about this, but AI art, because now you have artificial intelligence creating things as well. Do you look at that like, man, man, what do I do about this?
Uh, it's an interesting avenue because I've seen some wonderful AI art, and then I've seen some that is just like you can tell they've just took a whole bunch of images from the internet and put it together and made whatever, and they're calling it art. Or I've seen the downside as well, where the AI art is actually taking art from actual artists, and it's being sold in stores or it's being put on
Mm.
clothing. So a lot of artists have had issues with that. So I feel like there's a pros and cons to both the AI art, but I guess we'll have to kind of see where it goes. But as of right now, I've kind of strayed away from it a little bit. But I've seen
Mm.
some people do amazing work with it. So we'll have to see where it goes and as far as the art world.
Okay, that's an interesting perspective because usually it would be like, man, F AI. Those computers, those robots, the Terminator's a real thing, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm neither pro or against, so I don't. Well, that's still your view is very important because yeah, I mean, being an artist now, that's like things changing like that, and with AI and all that. Trying to sell your art, for example, online too, like you mentioned. Do you so when you're going down this path of I want to make art a career, and mentioning that there's different ways to go about art now, do you see yourself like doing commissions for people? Like if somebody wants a drawing of something specific, they pay you to go ahead and make that art for them, or for example, being a an artist on maybe animation. Because actually, I'll say how I even discovered you was through the algorithm of the internet. There was this movie that I really liked that came out back in the 90s. It was called Cats Don't Dance.
Yeah,
And
I like that movie. I was just watching that last week.
yeah, and you know what? I mean, that movie was completely made from drawings, completely made
Yeah.
from 2D art. Uh, well, now you got 3D art, but I mean, the point is that's another way art is used. Do you see yourself being an artist for film and television?
I could. Like I said, I have so many different avenues that I pursue, or if it's something that I'm like interested in, I'll do my research on it. And I'm like, how can I get into that? So it could be a possibility. And then as far as I know, you asked about commissions as well. A lot of my work is just I draw what I feel, and then if you like it, you can purchase it. And then I've
Mm,
had some people reach out and say, hey, do you do X, Y, and Z? And if it's not in the realm of something that I do, I say, hey, that's not really something that I do,
okay.
or that's not, really a theme that I tackle. So it just really depends on what they want as a commission kind of project. But I mean, I'm definitely open to it.
Okay. So if like you were to open that business, like, and I'm not saying like going on the record saying confirmed to do commission art, but if in future you wanted to expand on how you make a living off of doing art, like what are some other things that you had in mind besides selling your paintings online
So, like I said before, I do paint on clothes.
and
So,
clothes? Yeah.
yeah, so I paint on clothes, jackets, jeans, basically a lot of denim and stuff like that. Like I said, I
Mm.
do like floral arrangements, so that's another avenue of art that I do as well. So I'll do like faux floral arrangements. So like huge, I don't do like little petite ones. I do kind of like huge, over the top ones. So that's definitely something that I pursue at the moment. Like you said before, like doing illustrations for like movies or television, or even illustrations for like books or children's books. I would be interested in doing something like that. So
Okay.
it really just kind of depends on like where my spirit takes me. Then I just kind of go with it.
Okay. That's a very great way to look at it. Oh, and some even host art classes. There were art workshops down in Dallas here that art teach people who were teaching. They kind of rent out a space to do like a little art class. Now it's free for people to attend, but I think like they can leave donations or stuff like that. Do you see yourself wanting to do like art workshops?
I think that would be fun. I think it would be fun because a lot of people that kind of sign up for the classes are like beginners. So it's nice to kind of catch people in that early like curiosity phase where you can really kind of help them, do like the basics and things like that. So that would definitely be something that I feel like would be kind of fun and kind of like a chill kind of environment. So that would be something that I could definitely look into.
Okay, I'd say go for it because I mean, your talent speaks for itself. But I think that would, I mean, again, at the end of the day, it's completely up to you what you want to do with your talent. But like that I think that would work out for you definitely.
Mhm.
Uh, so what like when you're not doing art and you're not taking care of plants, like what does Kitty Be Loved do on a daily day basis when she's like, I don't want to draw today. I'm gonna do something else.
You know what? I am a big documentary person.
Mm.
So I love a good documentary. So you can catch me and it could be a documentary about anything. I'm not like a specific topic. I just love a good documentary. So I love a good documentary. So you can definitely catch me watching documentaries. I love to go and soak up the sunshine. So, just being outside somewhere. Earlier this year, I really got back into skating because it was something that I loved to do when I was younger. So definitely catch me outside skating, trying not to fall. But but I have definitely got back into that. So that's something that I'm really pursuing as well. And then I'm like queen of taking naps. I love a good nap. I don't know what my problem is, but I love a good nap time. So you can find me doing that as well. Uh, I just, I feel like sometimes you got to refuel. So I do take a good nap. I love to spend time with my family. I love to
Aw.
bake desserts. So if you like scroll on my Twitter through my pictures, you'll see some like holiday desserts that I bake and stuff like that. So
Oh.
I'm kind of, I do a little bit of everything.
Do you apply like your art talent to catering? Like just make art
Um,
out of
I
food, for
have,
example.
um, when I do have, because some years I've had like a Halloween party. So I'm definitely using like my creative skills when I decorate the desserts and stuff like that. So if I have like a party or something, I'm definitely doing a little bit of creativity. I'm just not baking a regular cake. I'm definitely going to have a theme and everything else going on.
Okay, because I mean, just even looking at, I mean, of course, like designing like a cake is probably a whole different beast than drawing on a sketchbook, for
Hmm.
example. But just knowing that the talent that you got, I mean, that would be really cute. To just design cakes and treats and all that. Like
Yeah.
making plant like. Um, Okay. Well, I mean, like naps. I mean, as people get older, some people nap. For some reason, I don't do that. I wake up and then I don't go to bed until I feel like I can't be up anymore. That's just
Yeah.
me. Yeah, I mean, it's your health, so there's nothing wrong with that. I just for some reason I don't nap, so I'm probably the weird one. Um,
That's all
uh,
right. Some people are just like naps aren't for them. Me, I'm like, sometimes I just need to let me just get a little 30-minute nap real quick and we can go about the rest of the day. So
Okay. Do you also do tattoo art? Because I noticed that you have also like all these like plant tattoos, and I believe there's a whole tattoo artistry.
Yeah, so I don't, well, I've designed my own tattoos that I have, but as far as like doing sketches for other people, I haven't really.
Mm.
Some people have asked me like, "Hey, have you ever thought about doing being a tattoo artist?" But I'm like, I don't know. I don't want to put people in pain, you know. Some people don't handle pain too well, so
Mm.
I don't know about being a tattoo artist, but as far
Okay.
as like, maybe my drawings or illustrations, maybe that could be something that would inspire somebody's tattoo. So, you never know.
Yeah, I wouldn't know. I had washable Bugs Bunny tattoos back when I was a kid. That was it. So I don't I don't know the life of being tatted up as they say. I don't even know if that's a thing. Uh,
Yeah.
no, it's just like when you look at art it can be expressed in so many different ways. So like there's so many opportunities for you to like show how great of an artist you are, and I'm just excited for you. Um, hopefully things work out. And living in Houston, I imagine that like living in Houston is expensive. And I'm saying that because I'm going to DreamCon. DreamCon's in Houston next year, and those ticket prices are
Heard, yeah.
150 plus tax or so.
Well, anytime they have an event in Houston and they know people are coming from everywhere, the prices are going to go up.
Oh,
So
okay.
I do try to tell, because I've had people reach out to me and say, "Hey, I'm coming to Houston. Where should I go? What should I do?" And I always tell people, like, just make sure you book your stuff early, because
Mm.
you get a better deal early on. But anytime they have an event, 'cause they always have an event out here for something. So anytime they have an event, hotel prices, everything is going to go up. So definitely, if you haven't gotten your reservations and things together by now, I would say go ahead and get that together before the year ends, because it's just going to go up in price the later you wait. So,
So how does someone like because I live up in DFW. And I know going to Austin can be expensive sometimes, but I haven't been to Houston yet. How does how can someone like be able to manage being an expensive part of a state?
um, you know what? Some parts of Houston, it really just depends on where you want to be. When I
Right.
first moved down here, because I've been down here a little over a decade. So
Okay.
when I first moved down here, it wasn't as expensive as it is now. I will
Okay.
say, with like the influx of people moving down here from everywhere, the price of things have gone up. And then I know Houston is kind of a touristy city now. Like, people will come for the weekend and, come and party and enjoy themselves and everything else and go back home. I would say to just plan your funds accordingly. If you think, okay, your budget for down here is going to be 2,000, I would say go ahead and tack on another 1,000 for that, because you never know. Like, there's so much, you come in for, like DreamCon, but while you're down here, you might explore other stuff. So I would just say, if you think this is your budget, add on a little more, because you never know. You never know what's going on in the city that you might want to get into. So I would say that that'd be something to kind of be mindful of.
Yeah. No, I get that. Do you see yourself? Because that I mean that just adding on the list of artists, there are artist alleys at conventions. Do you see yourself wanting to explore that in the
Hmm.
future? Like setting up shop at like having a booth with your art. Just kind of another way of kind of
Um,
getting yourself out there.
yeah. Now I can't see you. I don't know what happened.
Wait, hold on. You can't see me?
Yeah. Oh, there it goes. Okay. Yeah. It like froze briefly, and then I couldn't see you. As
Oh.
far as, I don't, technology, who knows?
Okay. Um,
Yeah, sometimes I do look into that. But sometimes the vendor fees and things like that can be a little over the top for conventions. So just trying to get a booth there is a little pricey sometimes. So that does deter a lot of artists, because if you pay, I don't know, $400 for a booth, it's like now you have to recoup that, before you even make, any money. And who's to say, at the convention if you're even going to make anything. So sometimes I kind of stray away from like the larger conventions because they can just have, as far as like expenses, a little bit too much going on. So.
That is no, that's true. But what about like say local or smaller conventions,
Mhm.
for example?
Yeah, I do look into some of the smaller conventions and things like that. I just haven't really got into any just because some of them, a lot of the, well, not as far as like the conventions, some of like the festivals and markets and stuff, like as far as right now, they'll be outside. And the
Mm.
weather is just, I don't want to be in 100-degree plus weather,
I, I get it.
for several hours. I don't want to do it, but I have looked into some different events and things later in the year, and they're inside. So, and they're like larger events. So,
Yeah.
me and my other siblings, they have businesses as well. So, probably getting together with them and kind of seeing like, hey, is this a group thing we want to do? So, I've looked into some of the later events around the holidays that I might get into.
Okay, because Texas is a state that's just full of like little events, big and small, all around.
Hmm.
So like
Yeah.
I see with the talent you have, like just even it doesn't even have to. You don't even have to think about like DreamCon or uh, uh, Dallas Fan Days or something like that. It could be like I don't know something like local, and maybe the vendor booth is like $100 or $50 or something cheaper than that.
Yeah.
I mean there's even today with like talks of AI and technology and all that, there's still so much like that here for you to thrive. And
Yeah.
I love that you just you're dedicated, and that is important because it can be very easy to just burn out and give up.
Yeah. I've had my moments where I'm just like, I don't know. Like, I'm not sure about this, but I feel like as artists, sometimes we all go through that phase where it's like, is this something that I really want to do? But when I'm doing anything else, I'm like, I would rather be creating something or working on something. So I feel like sometimes you just gotta, go through a little slump of uncertainty and then jump back in there.
Like for example, your YouTube, because I
Hmm.
mean we focus so much on your art. It is also important to bring up the content that you make on your YouTube channel, which we talk about art, and you've kind of extended that to makeup and also locks. So what is it about like that particular part of art? I mean, you also do videos about your drawing as well, but what is it about makeup and locks specifically?
I feel like they're just another avenue to express yourself. I've seen some makeup artists where they're drawing like whole pictures on their face and they're doing complete transformations. So it's just like a whole nother avenue to just really put your creative talents to use, and just kind of be as colorful as or dramatic as you would like. So I definitely like that. And then I always get questions, when I do like a colorful look or something like, oh, how do you do X, Y, and Z? So I'm like, well, why not just make some videos about it and see what happens. And then as far as like my lock tutorials and stuff like that, I always get 1,000 questions about my hair, and you try to explain it to people, but I feel like a lot of people are visual. So I do have a whole, series about locks on that. So I feel like that definitely helps people, and people leave comments and say they're going to try it or that they have questions. I'm always here to help. So that's definitely something that I thought would be good for my channel. And then I have a few DIYs on there as well. So,
Yeah, actually,
mhm.
I got one to pull up. Because I love like how really inspired you are with just art in general to like even things like the like little crafts like what you're doing like making these little florals by just tying up these are they plastic or real leaves that you are putting together?
Oh, yeah, they're faux leaves. Yeah, they're fake.
Okay.
Yeah, a lot of them, like a lot of the arrangements that you see I'll do, they're for like inside. So there'll be like faux leaves that I'll get from, whatever craft store or whoever sells like, flowers and things like that.
Okay. Well, I mean, this is still really cool because, like, I mean, you think about like when you like grow up in school and you go to art class, and in art class they do things like this where they ask you to kind of make uh, uh, paper airplanes, or we'll just throw a random thing out there. And then
Right.
some of the tools that you're using, for example, like how you're tying everything together, um, like it's kind of bringing me back to where we kind of had to use some like these same little arts and
Hmm.
crafts just to like put the whole things together. And you're really showing that what you do in school can be applied to so many great ways. Um, do you like how would you say as an artist, how beneficial do you in your opinion do you say school would be to your talent as an
Um,
artist?
I would say it's somewhat beneficial. It really just depends on, I guess, what you're going to school for.
Right.
Because there's so many different levels to like being an artist, even like being like an architect or something like that. You have to have some level of creativity, you know what I'm saying, to create and and put different things together. So I mean, there's so many different levels. Or if you want to be like an illustrator, you might need some, professional training for that. So you might want to go to school for that. And, I don't discourage people from going to school, because I feel like if that's the avenue that you want to take and you feel like it's going to help you, then I do tell people, hey, pursue whatever school you want to pursue. And then some people are like, they don't want to go to school. They want to graduate and jump right into whatever they already know they want to do. And I just feel like you kind of just have to go off based off of like case by case basis with everyone. But I just kind of tell people, take the avenue that you feel like is best for you, in your career and what you actually want to do.
No, that's important. And like even when you think about like uploading videos, for example, like YouTube is a whole algorithm. So like how do you tailor yourself to finding more people who are enthusiastic about art? Like even if you look at this video, for example, and you look at related videos, there's even some other people might be looking for similar um, DIYs,
Yeah.
or they're looking at CNN with.
Yeah. There's there's literally so much. There's so much content on YouTube. It's like you can watch a video about anything and everything. So it's like who even knows?
No, it's like I mean, you are a beautiful human being, by the way. Like
Thank
just even
you.
with the makeup, and I mean this in genuine respect and compliment, not flirty or anything like that, because I don't do
I
that.
got you.
But
Yeah.
I'm sure you probably got that. Like you go on the street, you probably got hit on. Well, you just pepper spray those jerks. Anyway, I don't know what I'm promoting. Okay. No, no. Well, okay. Anyway, it's a little off topic, but uh, no, you are a beautiful human being with a beautiful heart. Like that's, then I really hope more and more good things come your way. But like, just a list of just variety of different talent from makeup to locks and DIY, and just the stuff that you put on YouTube can attract the type of people who watch these type of things, because there are a lot of beauty YouTubers. There are a lot of people who do DIY. So like when you think about uploading your content onto YouTube, like what do you how do you sort of look at the algorithm? Like what kind of tags, what time of day or day of the week do I want to post, or do I put this on Twitter or Instagram, or how do you go about all that?
You know what? I don't have a set posting schedule. Like some people are like, you know, you gotta post during this time and then you gotta post it. I just post when I post. Like right now, until I
Mm,
get more I guess consistent where I'm like, okay, every Monday, Wednesday, Friday I'll post. You know what I mean? But right now, I might post in the morning or I might post in the evening, I might post in the afternoon. It just depends. Or I might post on a Monday or a Friday. It really just depends on whenever, I shoot a video and I edit it and I put it up there. So right now I don't really have any like determinations as far as when I post. And then I follow a couple people. Well, I'm subscribed to a couple people on YouTube. They got a new video, it seems like every day. So I feel like at some point I would probably get to that point where I'm posting a little bit more every day, every other day. But as far as right now, I'm posting when I can.
oh.
So
Do you? Because some people do this. Like uh, they make a video and then they post within the day. But sometimes content creators they'll have like a set of videos already pre-made and planned, and they'll if they are uploading every single day, it's probably a video that was made like a week ago.
oh
But
yeah,
they're not actually actively creating a video every single day. Um,
yeah.
I don't know if it's like, you know what, I'm gonna work on this video and then I'm gonna post it like later today, or like how that usually works for you.
Yeah, if I shoot a video, I'm definitely not posting the same day because I still have to edit it, and
Yeah.
I'm sure it's probably one of six videos that I need to edit. So I do have like a stash of videos that I've never like, oh, I need to shoot, another video. So a lot of times it's just like, okay, you just have a surplus of content, and then you just edit in whatever order you want to edit and post whatever order you want to post. So it is, or some people have like days where they'll just shoot all their content in one day, and then they don't have to worry about shooting content for the rest of the week, and then they'll just go about uploading whenever they upload. So as far as me, I'm like, if I shoot on a Monday, I'm not posting that same video that I shot Monday evening. I'm probably working on another video, but I just shot that one just to have a little bit more, content
Right.
for later on.
Right. Um. Okay. Yeah. But do you? Because even on like the social media platforms, we mentioned YouTube, Twitter, TikTok, Instagram. Do you see yourself wanting to keep up with all these platforms?
Um, I feel like at some point, the popular platforms are gonna shift and they're gonna change.
Right.
I feel like that's just how it goes. Like, even like back in the day when like MySpace was the thing, it was that social media, and then now it's not here anymore. I feel like
It's
some of these
still here.
platforms
What are you talking about?
is
Yeah,
it.
MySpace. Yeah. Justin Timberlake
I
is on my. Wait.
I would like to go back to those days.
You know what? You know what? Just for you, let's do it. MySpace. Let's see what
Yeah, I
MySpace is
would
up
like
to.
to.
All right. You know what? You see,
I'd like
MySpace
to go
exist.
back.
You know what? Okay. All right. All right. Miss Love, I think you misunderstood here. MySpace exists. See, there's
I, I
MySpace right now. This is.
I wish. Like, I would only imagine in this day and age what it would actually be like. But, like, I
That's
feel
what
like
it is.
at some
No,
point,
this is MySpace. MySpace.com. Right?
we'll have to make a shift back to that. But I do feel like at some point, the social media, the, popular ones, they're going to change. And then
Yeah.
I don't really, because I do have a couple IG pages. But as far as now, I
Mm,
just kind of keep up with my, like, creative one, and then sometimes with my one that's dedicated to my plants. But as far as like my personal one, I really haven't been on there too much.
mm,
So I do feel like it is a lot of social media. It'd be too
yeah.
much to keep up with sometimes. So I just kind of try to focus on my main ones that I actually post like my creative content on.
Right. So, that being said, how do you avoid burnout? Because, I know this
Um,
is mentioned a little bit in the beginning, but just like, keeping up with your talent in a way where it's still, at the end of the day, fun.
I would say when you're feeling like overwhelmed or tired, listen to that and like actually take a break, because some people, I feel like they get stuck in their head of like, oh, they got to post, and they got to upload. And if they don't, then, people are going to forget about them. And then they get overwhelmed, they get exhausted. But I feel like when you are at the point where you're just like trying to do everything all the time, and you're being overwhelmed with that, I'll take a break. You're like, it's okay to take a break, and I just feel like with social media, it's so much new content coming out all the time. People are scared that they're going to be forgotten about. So they just push themselves to the point of burnout. But when I'm feeling like, okay, I'm tired, I need a little break, I take a break. Like, I'll step back. And surprisingly, like, there hasn't been, you know, any issues with that. Like, even when I don't post on YouTube, I'm still getting subscribers. I'll still get notifications like, oh, this person has subscribed, this person has subscribed. So it's like, people are still going to see the content that you have up there. You just won't have, maybe any content from the past week if you're taking a break. But, I always tell people it's okay to just kind of step back and really make sure you're in the right headspace. Because sometimes when you do get in that mode of when you're burnt out, it's really hard to come back from that. So I try to avoid getting in that like headspace and just making sure that I'm really listening to myself. Like, if I need a break, I'm going to take a break.
That's important, and that's true. Especially when we mention all the social media platforms that handle. Do you where do you see the art world in the near future?
In the near future, I definitely see more people definitely joining the art world, because I do feel like sometimes people get discouraged from like pursuing art or being an artist. So I definitely see more people like joining the art world. Like we talked about earlier with AI, I definitely do see maybe more AI produced artwork, or I know there's like different apps and stuff you can use where you put prompts in there and then they create the artwork for you. I definitely feel like we're going to see a lot more of that. Um, I see with the what is it? The 3D printing. I've
Mm.
seen a lot of that become really popular. So I feel like we'll probably see a lot more of the like 3D printing and things like that. So I do see a lot of different like more technology being applied to the art world.
Do you see yourself wanting to do 3D printing or technology infused art?
I do like the 3D printing because I've seen some people print some amazing things. However, the equipment to do 3D printing is not cheap. So that is another thing. It's like the equipment to do that is, can be on the pricey side. But as far as like, my creative mind and designs and things that I have, I definitely feel like it could be something that could collide with 3D printing and actually do amazing things. So maybe one day I'll have to look more into it.
Okay, that's important. Um, and where do you see you in like the next 5 years with art?
With art, I definitely see myself doing like staying definitely with the physical art. But I do want to get into being able to sell prints of my physical art as well. And then of course sell the original artwork as well. I would like to see some of my artwork in like different museums. So that everybody can appreciate it a little bit more up close and not just on the internet. Because I feel like we're in the time where it's like we just see so much stuff on the internet. People aren't really seeing things in real life anymore. So I would
Mm.
definitely like to see some of my artwork in maybe like different museums around the world. I definitely want to be like a self-sustaining artist. So definitely just making a living off my artwork and maybe like collabing with different artists or helping other people like hone in on their like, different crafts, or if there's something they want to get into, kind of helping them as well. So I definitely see that. As far as being like an artist in Houston, I don't know if this is like my final place that I ever want to live. I do want to like
Mm.
venture out and see the world a little more. So I definitely are in hopes that my art will help me do that. So
Where would you want
hopefully
to
in the
be
next,
at?
what was that?
Where would you want to venture out to?
I always say I want to be somewhere like tropical, not far from the beach, because I do like to be near water, and I do like warmer weather. Maybe not like sweltering hot weather where it's just unbearable, but I do want it to be where it's warm majority of the year. So something like that, maybe out of the country somewhere. So we'll see.
Okay. Well, put that to existence that will happen.
Hmm. Yeah.
Um, do you? So I don't know if because I haven't been to one in a while. But do you consider yourself I wouldn't say a vegan, but like someone who would invite themselves into sort of the vegan community or vegan culture just from loving plants and nature and everything like that.
Um, I'm not a vegan, but I don't eat like red meat. So I don't know how you would classify that. But as far as like the plant world and things like that, I am like very heavily into that. I do see a lot of different brands coming out with like vegan leather and kind of straying away from like animal based products and stuff like that. So I do see like kind of art, like as far as designing different bags and kind of maybe going in that venture of seeing like what we can make outside of the ordinary leather handbag or, you know what I mean, suede
Right.
bag and
Yeah.
things like that. So I think that would be a nice venture to get into.
Because yeah, and it's like whenever you say vegan, like the first thing you think come to mind is like vegetarian or eating meatless options. But at least I used to go around a lot in Dallas. There would be these vegan festivals, but they would have, as you said, they would have like products that would not be made from animal, or they would be use recyclable material or stuff
Hmm.
like that. Very very much supporting a lot of black businesses
Yeah.
and plant based businesses, whether it be people who grow plants in different forms. Uh, that was the type of vegan, probably what I was meaning to say. Regardless of whether or not you eat meat, because vegan kind of stems from multiple things. But no,
Hmm.
that's still a cool idea, though. Maybe designing clothes or bags. With you say like recyclable material or not made from animals.
Yeah, kind of like some other materials, besides the leather, the suede, there's other options out there that are definitely, I feel like more people should explore as well. So, and I
Okay.
know in Houston they've had a couple like vegan festivals out here. So there's definitely a market for it.
Okay. Yeah, and there's definitely a market for the talent you got. You deserve to thrive out here because you are such a beautiful human being, and I love just even learning more stuff about you and the wonderful things you do. So, um, this podcast, which is on Ponspress stream right now, twitch.tv/Ponspress, everywhere Ponspress except Twitter at ChasePon64. Of course, right after the interview is done, it's immediately uploaded for anybody's viewing or listening pleasure, 24/7. I keep the audio just, in case I am able to get things up and running on Spotify, but it's definitely on Twitch and Twitter and all the other social media platforms. Um, we are proudly sponsored by Poggers, which I know this looks weird. It's got like a little meme frog. I don't know how infatuated you are with the internet, but this should be like the pet frog. But no, this is actually called Poggers. Uh, it's a mixer, so where you kind of mix water with like fruit flavored drinks. It's like little powder
Okay.
that has like a vitamin A to C, only like 5 calories or so. But basically, the idea
Okay.
is you mix like one scoop with a cup of water, usually like these little chugs, and you shake it up and you drink it, and it's basically like vitamin water. But whether or not you want to be energized, you want to be hydrated, Or in the
Hmm.
case of Poggers, they also serve sleep formulas. So if
Oh.
you yourself who likes to take naps and maybe
Uh-huh.
the cat's waking you up all the time and you want to kind of
Hmm.
sleep better, then you just take even one scoop of this and this will knock you out real good. I will tell you that.
Yeah.
Every time I just have like the sleep powder poggers, I'm like, okay, in the next 30 minutes, I'm gonna go to bed. So,
Hmm.
um, but yeah, exclamation mark poggers, of course, to get all of that wonderful deals, 10% off, and all sales, at least 10% goes back to Pawn Express. And we also are a proud supporter of the Humble Bundle for all the gamers out there who want discounts on their games on PC. You can go to exclamation mark humble for discounts. And again, 10% off, 10% of sales goes back to Pawn Express. And Kitty, where do people find you?
So people can find me. My personal socials will be Kitty B Love. So that's Twitter, my IG as well. And then for my creative ventures, it's going to be Kitty B the Artisan. So it's going to be Kitty B dot the dot artisan. So that's for my YouTube, for my IG. But that's for my beacons as well. So y'all can for my TikToks. So y'all can find me there.
Okay. And Kitty, I am just so grateful to spend this hour getting to know your wonderful self, and I hope that you continue to thrive. I look forward to all the great and amazing achievements that you accomplish from this point on, and I hope the best for the entire day that you have going forward. Um, for everybody watching and listening, this will conclude the interview. This stream is going to continue going because I will play some games after, but I'm going to go ahead and cut off the interview portion and immediately upload it. So, Kitty, thank you so much for joining me
Thank
today. And
you. Yes, thank you for having me. This has been very enjoyable, and
of
we'll definitely
course,
stay in touch.
of course, you are. I mean, you are a very kind human being. Like that's another thing. Don't let embrace that and don't let that be undermined. Just like how pure your heart is, and that's important because
Thank
there
you.
we
Uh,
need more nice people out here, more
yeah.
wholesome, nice people.
Oh,
PG
of course,
rated,
of
family
course.
friendly.
Thank you so much.
No, all right. You have a wonderful day, Miss.
Thank you. You too. You be safe.
Chris. Oh shoot. Okay. I'm gonna cut this off, and we're gonna go straight to our games. But thanks once again to my guest. Hold on. 1 second, guys.